guys, today we're talking about how to do a budget-friendly walkway. Now, in this walkway that I did, there was already kind of a walkway there, and I was having a whole lot of issues with water runoff. This is right beside my garage, and where the driveway meets the garage, I had a whole lot of water standing there, and when it would rain a lot, it would stand there and run over to where this walkway was. And there was a little concrete pad and little footstones onto the concrete, so the water would build up on the driveway, run over there and shoot off of that, and then take all of the mulch and just throw it all over the yard. So and this walkway that I did took a bunch of different turns as I did this, but we're going to go through everything and how I did everything, what I did, stuff like that. So we're going to be talking about how to do the best budget-friendly walkway. You can do some of these, you might not have issues like I had with it, but we're going to talk about all that. So in this instance, as I said, I had a lot of issue with water running off right where I didn't want to, where the walkway was. So what I ended up doing was I wanted to install a water drain, so the water would go over to the area and go down to the drain before it shot over and washed everything off. So the concrete and footstones that were there, I actually took a sledgehammer and beat it up and destroyed it and got all of that up out of the way. And before I actually did that, when I started having issues with when we would have a lot of rain and it would take the mulch, throw it all over the place, I actually got the mulch out of the way, the same width of this concrete pad that was sitting there, and went ahead and put the footstones, I had like 3 from the one that was already there to the backyard, and put river rock pebbles around it, thinking that the water would move that like it did the mulch. And we got a lot of rain one day and it still took all of the rock and shot it all over the backyard, so that was really fun to clean up. So once I did that is when I decided to destroy this whole thing and do something different there. Got all that up, and then got a drain from Lowe's. It was only, and you can get a bunch of different drains depending on what you want to do, a bunch of different price ranges. I got one that was 2 inches wide and was about 5 feet, I think, long. Got this from Lowe's for just like 30 bucks. So I got everything out of the way, dug what I needed to out to be able to place this drain, so the top of it was right at the top of the driveway that was there. Got that installed, and then I had to put, I think it was 1 1/4 inch tubing, PVC tubing, to hook to the drain for the water to flow away somewhere. So where this is, I put it in the side and it was only like a foot of tubing that goes over to the wall of the garage, put a 90-degree turn in there, and put another piece in that runs right over the brick that's there, keeping the mulch in, separating the mulch from the grass, and it goes right on top of the brick, and all the water can go out into the yard. So I went ahead and did that, installed the drain, and like I said, you might not have to do this, and yours will not be as expensive as this one was, but you can still install these real budget friendly. Now after I did that, got the drain in, I went ahead and got more river rock and did past the drain, all river rock all the way down to the backyard, to the block, and put the footstones down there. Thought it was completely done, and of course a few days later we got an absolute monsoon rain, and apparently we got so much rain that a lot of it just shot right over the drain that I did and still washed all of the rock out into the yard. So that was even more fun to clean up out of the ground. But once I got to this point, I was really pissed off with this whole thing, because I had spent a ton of money, not a ton of money, but spent money on this, spent a lot of time doing this, and we're at the 2nd or 3rd time of doing a different walkway. And then at that point I decided to put a little deck type walkway down. So what I did was I went ahead and moved the footstones, and went ahead and got all the rock up out of the way that I could save, and then started to build a frame for deck flooring to go on. And for this I just used 2x4s that I already had. If you don't have them, depending on how big of a walkway you're talking about, you can still do this pretty cheap, even though wood pricing is absolutely crazy. But I just used 2x4s, figured out how long and how wide it needed to be, and cut my 4 boards. boards, got them in place. I did dig a little bit of a ditch just so the top of the deck flooring walkway that I did would be right at the top of the drain, and then be right at the top of the brick that goes down into the backyard. So I got the 4 boards that I needed, got them secured, got them down as deep as I needed them to, and then figured out how long I wanted the deck boards to be. I just had them overhang off of my 2x4 1 inch on each side. Figured out how many deck boards I needed to do and how long I wanted them. Got those, started cutting them, and then placed them down on this. Now, and even to this point, if I'd have just done this to begin with, it still would be fairly cheap. I think I only spent $40 or $50 total. If I'd have just done it this way to begin with, I spent more on that with all of the footstones and rock that all got washed away. But I still did this for under $100, even installing the drain and everything. So we've gone over a couple of different options. All are fairly cheap. The one that I ended up doing was obviously more expensive than the other ones I had ended up doing and got destroyed. But in some cases like this, you might have issue with water, and even putting a drain in, apparently still washing stuff away. So now doing this, I won't ever have to worry if we get 6 inches of rain in an hour. I won't have to worry about this actually washing away or moving at all. So this is what I ended up doing. Still real budget friendly, did it for under $100. Obviously that's going to change depending on how big of a walkway you're talking about, but this is just a budget walkway just to go from like the end of my driveway at my house just to the backyard and not have to worry about anything washing out or anything like that. So let me know all of your thoughts. If you've done something like this or have done something different that you like or think would do better, let me know all of your thoughts down in the comment section below, and I will see you guys in the next one.